I have the pleasure of reading some of the strangest shoutout names of all time. It has both made me thankful and regretful for offering anyone the chance to get a shout out, regardless of what they put as their screen name on Patreon at the time. But nevertheless, I am bound to do so. So before we begin, thank you very much to Dr. Poopy P. McButtface Jr., recently remarried, for joining the Patreon campaign. And the bad part about that is, I've read that name before. Though I think it was recently divorced last time. If it has been amended to recently remarried, prime decision. Perfect. Perfectly executed. Thank you very much for the support. Always appreciated. We're gonna ditch the usual spiel I give everyone to push them toward the Patreon, and we're just gonna go straight into it because holy crap, Earthspark isn't dead yet. So, as the rumors kept saying, yes, there was just a little bit more to do. We had previously had report that the producer for the show had wrapped up the show at the same time he wrapped up with Nickelodeon, which was like a month ago. And then we had a German website that was announcing names and dates for the airing of 2 new Earthspark specials. So we were optimistic as Earthspark fans that this show had just a little bit more gas left in it so it could finish off its story, and it looks like we are actually getting that. Paramount just announced with a 30-second trailer the brand new season 4 of Earthspark with 2 one-hour specials. Now, welcome to a video where TJOmega takes a 30-second trailer and somehow manages to get at least 15 minutes of content out of it because he just won't shut up. Enjoy the ride! So let's begin with a couple of the posters that were shown off for this. A little bit small on my screen, but you do see this is the poster for the first of the specials, which is Hometown Heroes, where all we really get is seemingly some kind of space bridge with some Cybertron landscape across one side of it. Optimus with a huge cannon that came off the back of his trailer. We have the kids. We have Thrash. Weird that Thrash is thrown into this. But also, okay. Yeah, we've got Robbie and Mo. But the biggest thing here is that's Hot Rod. Hot Rod out of nowhere. So when we started getting wind that there would be just one last run, there'd be these 2 episode specials on the way, I was kind of expecting them to just use whatever they had left over. I was expecting them to throw as little budget behind this as possible and, not create new CG elements or anything unless they absolutely had to. But no, we're getting new characters. Hot Rod made it in. And then there is the second of the posters, which is Legacy of Hope. And yeah, it's a name that really kind of invokes the theme of the entirety of the series and indicates that we might actually wrap up everything with the Ember Stone and the Quintus Prime story, which would be great to see, like how all that is going to break down. This is where we get Twitch in a very, very highlight spot on the poster. The rest of the Terrans are there. Robbie is there. And then we have 2 more brand new characters who are a little bit ambiguous from this shot, but we'll get into them in detail to kind of explain them. For starters, let's look at the render here for our villain. I do not know if it's going to be a villain for just Legacy of Hope, or if this is going to be more or less 4 episodes telling 2 stories or 1 like long story. I don't know how this is going to break down. However, we do have confirmation this is the Earthspark version of Liege Maximo, which is fascinating. For one, he looks way too much like Ultron. Let's get that out of the way right now. Everyone has made that comparison. But more to the point, we're throwing another 13 in, which is weird. So most of these shows, they only deal in like one one of the 13 at a time. And then very rarely is it two. Oh, which one was it? I always get them mixed up. It was Cyberverse. No, it was alright. I did it. I knew I was going to mix it up. It was RID 2015, where they had both Micronus and Megatronus as part of the story. That is rare. That's very rare that they focus in on two of the primes. So, Liege here, let's keep this in mind. He does play a part in IDW, but really not a huge part. Like, he is involved toward the later end of that storyline, but he really is usurped by Onyx Prime, who turns out to be Shockwave. Spoiler alert for an old comic book. Point being, this is really the first time we've seen Liege Maximo take center stage as the villain in Transformers, which is kind of cool. So let's see what he is up to. He is wielding what in any other fiction would be the Star Saber. You know, the sword where it looks like the Matrix of Leadership came from. And that ain't his relic. I want to say Liege Maximo's whole gimmick is the darts. That's not his relic. No, in fact, we also had this shot where he is holding not only the Ember Stone, completely intact, by the way, but also another stone that is vaguely Matrix in shape, but the Matrix in Earthspark doesn't glow pink, it glows blue. So I'm not entirely sure what that second rock is, but it is implied to be another of the 13 Prime's relics. That would be 3 that he has gathered across whatever. And it's not alone. I put these out of order, but it also looks like he has the Requiem Blaster as well. So Liege Maximo's whole thing is to travel the universe and collect all of the relics of the Primes. To what end, we don't know and will not know until these specials air. But it does look like he is up to something exceptionally sinister if he needs that much power on board. What can you do with that many accumulated Prime relics? Because, yeah, it's a lot. But it also makes me think, because the Ember Stone is intact, makes me think that this might be shots from, like, the past. Like, perhaps, like, the original fall of the 13 Primes in this universe. Because it is shown that he is seemingly uniting all of the relics into one amalgamous source of energy, which you can then see on this. Now, the architecture there does match the platform that Liege Maximo has assembled all of the items on. The pink energy is the same, so I'm assuming it's the same scene. The Starscape, as well as like the barren wasteland, this is either a barren alien world we've never seen before, or it is a primordial Cybertron before it has grown into a technological planet. One or the other, it's very hard to tell, but it's worth speculating on. It makes me excited because this is definitely not Earth. That's the thing. It makes me excited because it's definitely not Earth, so we are at least getting a chance to expand the planets and the universe of Earthspark. Get to see another planet, which is kind of cool. We get to see this, too. I'm not sure if this is the same, because this actually has elements to it. This looks like something really wicked happening on Cybertron. You can see the roadways, you can see towers, and yeah, it looks wrecked. So it would be like the state of Cybertron now, post-war, after the planet's been completely abandoned, which kind of answers one of the lingering plot threads from Earthspark Season 3. Cybertron is apparently still a thing, and it does still exist. That was the big question amongst the Decepticons. Maybe the planet doesn't even exist anymore. Well, clearly it does. At least some form of it is still in existence. Doesn't seem like it's very lively, but it's there. And something bad is happening to it. Again, this might be in the past. This might be Liege Maximo awakening on the barren Cybertron, etc. We don't know yet. But again, fun to speculate. Also, Liege is pretty big. He is pretty big and manages to capture Optimus in whatever finale is going on. So you'll see the stars in the background. From the later shots I'm going to show you, I'm pretty sure this happens on top of like a tower he has constructed on Earth. And the stars' colorations do seem to match this shot. This does correlate to that barren planet we saw, but this could also potentially just be like an area of Earth that's starting to come under the same level of like corruption from Liege Maximo. It's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell exactly what, if this is, if we are getting to go to an alien planet at the last minute here, that would be really cool. Or if this is some like, ruined part of Cybertron and we finally get to see the Terrans on Cybertron, that would also be kind of cool. So part of Earth that's starting to be like, I don't know, like, roboticized, metallicized. How do you want to describe this process? It is either something Liege is doing to Earth that's causing it to look like this, or it is just a barren part of the planet, or we've gone to a different planet. It's up in the air, but it's interesting to me. The other one you saw in there was Rodimus, Hot Rod. And we do have confirmation, which, by the way, shout out to tfu.info for posting the renders. Great of them to do so, because it took a lot of the questions out of this. Nick Roche is behind the designs for this season, the new characters. And yeah, explains, because Rodimus is looking very much his style. I keep saying Rodimus because it's I'm IDW brained when I'm describing Nick Roche's hot rods. It's a very good looking hot rod. I really like the overall look and design of it. I like the shoulder pauldrons. That adds something to the design, I think. Gives them like more of that sharp angle that I think flows well with his back fin. They didn't do the thing I hate, which is they didn't give him the fin on his forehead. I hate when they do that. But no, he looks really cool. He looks really cool. Oh, and the vehicle mode looks really cool. Super low to the ground. Like big wheels there. It's like, it is somewhat IDW inspired, but like it's definitely doing its own thing too. It's a really unique vehicle. I'm very scared about the prospects of this ever getting a toy, considering retailers really are trying to have no Earthspark stuff anymore. We'll see. This might be like a Target exclusive thing, because Target seems to be willing to take in a few Earthspark things still. I wish that stupid glow-in-the-dark Megatron would sell out, so we could finally get a hope of like Cosmos showing up, or maybe a restock of Soundwave. Hello Hasbro, that toy is amazing and everyone wants it right now. I got offered a prototype. Someone offered to send me like an actual prototype toy just to get a hold of that Soundwave, but the Soundwave is also so rare and so good, I balked on that. Never got back to them. So, here was the fun shot. Here's the really fun shot. So, the Decepticons are back. Remember, they left the planet in Season 2, and the idea was that they were going back to Cybertron. So, they've come back. Obviously, they've come back. Few lingering things. Number one, Hardtop is still missing an arm, so they didn't find any way of repairing him while they were gone. Rodimus is just there as part of the team. Yeah, I mean, it's possible he hitched a ride with the Decepticons when they like apparently U-turned and headed back to Earth. And it's also possible that he hijacked the ship, and it's his fault that they all came back to Earth. Again, this is one of those shots where you go, how did that happen? How did we set that up? And I want to know. And it would be really super cool if this would lead to something. I just know Soundwave's not in this shot. I was hoping for another Hot Rod Soundwave team up after Cyberverse. I'm not going to get that, am I? Interesting things in the shot. Octopunch is on the far right. Out of nowhere, we have a brand new Octopunch in a cartoon, no less. And they got the tendrils going. He has the lens face, from the original G1, though it's now like very spooky lit up face projected on what used to be the lens of the diving helmet. So that's actually a really cool take on Octopunch. And then, yeah, the big one in the back, it's Scorponok. The shape, the claws, the hints of green through the, around the purple. I love that Scorponok is just getting his heyday. I love that we're in this era that Scorponok is not a forbidden word. We can actually throw him into the Decepticon cast now. Crazy. I don't know why the Decepticons are back. It comes across like this is a threat where everyone has to team up to stop it. So the Decepticons just happen to come back at the right time to help out. Because it does feel like, especially with Hot Rod right there front and center, this is going to be like, our factions don't matter. We need to put Liege down. And then we have the design in the poster that you might not have recognized. It's Mirage. We're getting Mirage in this show out of nowhere. No idea what part they're going to play. They did not appear in the trailer whatsoever. It's only in the poster. But we do have a Mirage. It's a great design. Very sleek. Can't wait to see them transform. And I'm keeping these pronouns gender neutral because this form is so round and slim. It wouldn't surprise me if you said that this was gender flipped. We will find out. We'll find out together. This was an interesting shot. Yes, it's Starscream again, but that's Mandroid. We brought back Mandroid. I thought he was dead. Like, how do you come back from that? Well, apparently, you're this little kind of like head spider crab that's latched onto Starscream's chest like a Power Master. He is absolutely being mind controlled because his eyes are white, just like any of Mandroid's drones. So, something in my head wants to say Mandroid might be the villain for Hometown Heroes, and we might save Liege Maximo for Legacy of Hope, meaning most of the trailer would have come from Legacy of Hope. But it is good to see the Starscream is involved here. We might have one last chance to reconcile the plot that Season 1 set up. Please let them reconcile the plot that Season 1 set up. He does have a one-on-one with Megatron. And you can see Mandroid's head just slightly poking out there. So you know it is just another shot. You know it's actually Mandroid in control. So this is actually Megatron trying to free Starscream. That's kind of a crazy idea in and of itself. It genuinely does make me wonder if Megatron might actually make an attempt to reconcile with Starscream. Because remember, the lingering thread from Season 1 is Starscream will never feel safe in a place where Megatron is. Right? So, if Megatron is the one actually rescuing him from Mandroid's control, does that change? Does that mend something? I don't know. I'm hopeful, because that's a plot thread that deserves to be followed. Now, granted, one hour-long special is not going to be enough time to convey it, but it's better than nothing. It's better than just leaving a loose thread untied. One of the more interesting Starscream stories you've ever, potentially told. Let's take a few random shots here that were more interesting. This just kind of showing that the tower on Earth that they are fighting against, that Liege Maximo apparently rises up, because apparently that's just the thing in Earthspark. If you are the villain, you need to have a giant tower. That's just a thing, apparently. Here's another shot of said tower. Now, on top, you see that same pink energy that Liege Maximo used all of the prime relics to create. But it's actually more egg-shaped, which indicates that it's flat, like a space bridge, almost. And that might actually correspond to the space bridge imagery we saw on the poster. So maybe this is not about, like, whatever, like, weapon of whatever destruction or anything. Maybe he is trying to create a space bridge to something using all the weapons. I don't know. It's different. We do see Skywarp flying in. I don't know who's taking a shot at them, but they are definitely in the mix of the fight. We also had this shot of Robbie, so he's going to be directly in the line of fire. trying to stop whatever is going on at said space bridge. And again, it looks more like a space bridge to me from here too. And then we had this shot as well. And at first I thought these might have been like primitive Cybertronians during the flashback. But that is a very Earth missile that is firing at them that will then explode in said trailer. So I'm more or less thinking these are more zombie minions that Liege has summoned up. You know, when we do have one big bad villain, you know, and we do have a cast of characters as large as Earthspark does, we need some fodder for everyone to beat up, especially if the Decepticons and the Autobots are going to be teaming up against the enemy. So yeah, that's a perfect opportunity to have a whole bunch of grunts to beat up. And that's pretty much what we've got. It's pretty much what we got. Like I said, I can get a lot of discussion out of a 30-minute or 30-second trailer. December 5th, not too far away, we'll finally get to see this. I assume this is a Paramount Plus thing. Usually are. I don't know if it's airing on TV or anything. But won't be that much longer. Earthspark gets an ending, and that makes me happy. It's probably going to be rushed, but then again, I'm an Owl House fan too. I know what it's like to have a series truncated and rushed to its ending. Doesn't mean it'll turn out bad though. So we will wait with bated breath. It's only a few weeks away. So let me know what your thoughts, your hopes and wishes and dreams are for these Earthspark specials. You have 2 weeks to speculate before they launch. So let me know in the comments below, and as always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.